We're continuing to track discussions in the Jackson County Library Board as they've now entered a termination without cause agreement with Library Director Carrie May. Thanks for joining us for NewsWatch 12 at 6. I'm Samantha Cadera.
And I'm Austria Rodriguez. This comes after the board extended her leave in a meeting last week. Her leave stems from the Talent Library incident, where patrons reported a man watching sensitive content on the library's computers. The library board is now fast-tracking discussions to appoint an interim director until a new director is hired.
Following this afternoon's meeting, Carrie May handed out a statement reflecting on her time with the library board. In the statement, she says, quote, "I have become a librarian because I am passionate about the role public libraries play in their community. To JCLS staff, I offer a heartfelt thank you," end quote. This is still a developing story, and we will update you when we learn more.
And the city of Ashland held a study session to discuss the possibility of adding 2 new changes to their charter, with one changing who could apply for elected office based on where they live and how long they have lived there.
NewsWatch 12's Grace Ritz is live in studio. Grace, what was discussed and decided today in the study session?
Yeah, thank you, Sam and Oscar. Earlier today, I scrubbed through an almost 80-minute Ashland City Council study session where members discussed possible charter updates, including a proposal that would require candidates for elected office to live in the city for at least 12 months. Cities like Central Point and Phoenix require candidates to live there for 12 months, while Medford only requires 6. Mayor Tanya Graham and City Manager Sabrina Cotta say Ashland's charter language is vague, and they want to clarify it by adding a 12-month residency requirement and define what constitutes as a resident of Ashland.
Charter is pretty vague. All it says is you shall be a resident and a qualified voter. There's no time frame given, so technically that person can move here the day before the filing deadline and file to be a counselor.
Counselor Bloom and many others opposed this addition, saying there wasn't any issue before, so why change it now?
If we set it up in this way where it's 12 months, we lose an opportunity to have somebody really special that could serve this community and help participate with us and be a good partner with us in helping being stewards of this community.
After a long discussion, the council decided to drop the residency requirement idea and instead focus on looking at editing the language of the charter to affirm qualifications of elected officials.
We would add that to the direction to staff, is that the Ashland Municipal Code Review Group would take up the initial discussion. And then the last element, to Councilor Duquesne's point, is the language in the SEL that means that they will affirm that they will meet the qualifications by the time that they are elected.
If the council does continue to look at the charter language and decide that they would like to see a change, the amendment would have to be added on the upcoming spring ballot. But multiple councilors said that discussion would be too rushed to meet that timeline. Reporting live in studio, I'm Grace Ritz.
Senator Jeff Merkley and Senator Ron Wyden recently secured $100 million in funding for projects across our region. These community-initiated projects focus on clean water and wastewater plants, as well as fire and law enforcement infrastructure projects.
These types of projects, it ranges everything. It's clean water projects, it's wastewater treatment, it's the Coal Rivers hatchery that's so important. You've got the South Umpqua Rural Community Partnership. It just goes on and on. And improvements to the Curry County Jail and the Glide Revitalization Resource Center, Army Corps of Engineers for dredging around the Port of Bandon. So a variety of projects.
Other projects receiving funding across the state include the City of Talent's water line installation, new equipment for both University of Oregon and Oregon State University, and the Sweet Home Fire District, Wildland Hand Crew startup and equipment. Now let's check in with Storm Alert Weather 12 Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman. It was so beautiful today, and I know we're expecting an even warmer day tomorrow. How high will it get?
Yes, it will be a warmer day tomorrow. Take a look this morning. It was chilly this morning in the Rogue Valley. A look from Central Point. View of lower Table Rock this morning, sent in by Will. But look at how we rebounded. Any of those low clouds and fog, they cleared out, including the Grants Pass area, rebounding up to 61 degrees, 66 today in Medford. We made it up to 69 in Brookings and 63 degrees in Mount Shasta. And for most spots, we'll see even warmer readings for tomorrow. We're down to 58 degrees currently in Medford. It's 44 in Klamath Falls, 41 in Montague. We'll see another pretty cold night tonight for inland areas. Expecting some higher level clouds to start to develop overnight. It's not going to be terribly cloudy, but there'll be a few high clouds out there. Still going to be pretty cold. High pressure is going to be in control still through the rest of the week. Any low clouds and fog that develop tonight in our west side valleys, that'll burn off tomorrow morning as well. There is a storm system to the west, but this is just going to kind of fall apart. Most of the energy going to head to the north, but there's another system behind that one, and that is going to be our big weather maker as we head this weekend, bringing some big changes to our region. Tonight down to 32 degrees in Medford, 23 in Klamath Falls. Tomorrow expecting another very sunny day, even warmer and well above average high temperatures expected tomorrow, up to 69 in Medford, 62 in Wairika and Klamath Falls, and 67 degrees in Brookings. We'll talk about if we could see any records broken tomorrow, and I'll have details on those changes for the weekend coming up.
We have an update tonight on the Eagle Point dog hoarding case, this time focused on what's next for the dogs. Last week we told you the owner relinquished her rights to the dogs. Now some of the dogs are already up for adoption, while others are preparing for transfer to a rescue. Jackson County Animal Services says 5 of the dogs, all neutered with stronger leash skills, are now available for adoption at the shelter. The remaining dogs, about 3 dozen, will soon transfer to Midwest Schipperke Rescue, where they'll continue recovery and placement efforts.
The best thing for the dogs, for other court cases that we have, sometimes those go on for months, and then the dog is restricted in the kind of activity it can have, and so they're just waiting for that to carry on. So I think for this situation, it's always good when the dogs are released, they can then move on with their lives.
Shelter staff say relinquishing the dogs early in the process helps speed up adoptions and frees up space for other animals in need. They also credit the community for strong support, including donations and adoption interest since the case first came to light.
Central Point Police Department just arrested a 50-year-old suspect out of Macon. Central Point Police said they received a tip from Macon Police saying a suspect was staying at a residence on Annalee Street. Central Point Police then partnered with the U.S. Marshals Violent Offenders Task Force to locate and arrest the suspect. Christopher Trask is now lodged in the Jackson County Jail.
Port Orford police say they've now arrested the man wanted in connection to a shooting on Monday with the assistance of the Curry County Sheriff's Office. The city of Port Orford says Robert Anderson was taken into custody just before noon today. Further details on his arrest will be released when they become available. Right now, California tribes are wrapping up the 4th annual Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Tribal Policy Summit hosted by the Yurok tribe. This 2-day event invited tribes representatives and advocates from across the state to examine and address underlying factors in the MMIP crisis. Discussions varied from Indigenous representation in the state legislature to methods of keeping relationships and conversations active with local agencies. One keynote speaker highlighted change begins with a conversation.
We talk about missing and murdered Indigenous women, when we talk about repatriation, when we talk about the right to wear regalia in educational institutions, we should rally around those things and let our voices be solid as one people, because that's when we start to see the change take place in the state of California.
The summit gave tribes an opportunity to share both resources and strategies and allow several tribal youth to advocate for education on the issues tribes face.
Several agencies across our region are taking advantage of winter to burn fire fuels that could become hazardous in the summer. Right now, pile burns are taking place in Wairika, the Rogue Valley, and in several of our local national forests. And one of those fuel reduction projects is planned in Grants Pass, impacting a popular trail system.
And NewsWatch 12's Danny Spanovich has more from Cathedral Hills.
I'm here at the beloved Cathedral Hills trail system, where BLM is planning on beginning fuel reduction work. With homes sitting just feet away from these trails, officials say cutting brush and small trees could help lower wildfire risk for nearby neighborhoods.
We need to do something on the landscape to reduce the amount of fuel and make it so that if a fire were to come through, it would be either a low severity fire or put conditions where firefighters can catch the fire and keep it small.
The goal is simple.
Reduce hazardous fuels near communities at risk. Grants Pass is ranked 8th highest in the state.
For a local hiker who recently completed fuel reduction work on her own property.
Cleaned up the area so we have a better view and we still have our privacy, and a crew could get in now on our property and fight a fire. They don't have to worry about fighting the elements first.
She says she's seen how a little cleanup can make a big difference.
If everybody would just do a little bit, we'd be in a lot better shape if a big wildfire hits this area.
A local bike shop agrees the trails have needed attention.
A lot of down, smaller trees, windstorms, things of that nature. Bigger trees go down, chunk gets cut out, logs stay on either side of the trail. Overall reduction, hopefully take out some of the poison oak too, would be grand.
Crews expect to begin work soon, steps they say will help keep both the trails and homes safe for the fire seasons ahead. In Grants Pass, Danny Stepanovich.
This morning, new Medford fire recruits took part in a first alarm run-through downtown, building a connection with the community and the department's history. The city says recruits stopped by at key locations tied to important calls and moments in the fire department's history. Fire Chief Eric Thompson says the run grounds recruits in the responsibility and builds teamwork. The event marks their first introduction to the downtown area and the history they carry forward.
And several local firefighters are prepping for the annual Seattle Stair Climb that raises money for leukemia and lymphoma. Medford Fire will be raising money at Food for Less on February 7th and 14th, which will all go to Blood Cancer United of Oregon and Southwest Washington.
In a traffic alert, Oregon Department of Transportation will be closing the South Ashland exit on I-5 as crews complete bridge repairs. ODOT says the closure will be in place tomorrow, impacting only northbound traffic between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Drivers will have to use exit 14 to access Ashland. Work on the bridge is expected to be complete in one day.